go. That was loud.
Yeah, that's loud. Well, here we are once again in the basement, ladies and gentlemen. Another Thursday night. I don't know what to say about Thursdays, man.
It's the best
They're
night of
just
the week.
Thursdays.
Like Friday's good because it's the end of the work week, but Thursday's better because we get to do this.
Right?
And now we're doing it with headphones and matching red hats.
Oh, I didn't
That's
even
pretty
notice.
cool, huh? Not the G word. Anyways, how's your week been, brother?
It's been good. Just finished watching the new Predator.
Oh, what did you think? Because my guest went and I went and saw that in the theater.
I dug it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I like the way they kind of changed the story. The evolution of it all is kind of neat.
Yep.
The acting was a little bit weak, but the violence made up for it, so I'm okay with the violence.
And Olivia Munn is super hot.
Yeah, but we didn't
That
get
helped.
to see her boobs. There was, I mean, again, it's kind of like the shower scenes that I'm always
Yeah.
so disappointed in. They're like, they have this hot woman
Well
taking
down,
a shower,
looks good.
and you don't get to see it. And in this one, I mean, a shower. It wasn't a shower. It was a decontamination chamber. But still, they had to get naked.
And the son of Gary Busey was in it too, so maybe that was the whole reasoning not to.
Maybe. But they could still show us. I mean,
Oh,
Gary
yeah,
Busey, his kid. What is his name? His name?
Jake.
Jake.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So
was about to say Gary again.
that dude's underrated. I like seeing him and stuff. So,
Oh yeah.
and unfortunately, it's just short enough for him to get killed and be like, "Hey, that's Gary Busey's." Oh, he's dead.
Yes. And you had to do he's got the kind of teeth thing going on.
What?
Dude, but like his dad, but then you couldn't
The
have
big
Busey
smile.
without it.
It's
You
just
could-
a big
It's
smile.
a big smile, and you couldn't have a Busey without it.
Yeah. So.
It's a good movie. It's underrated. People just didn't like it for some reason, but I thought it was a good time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was pretty mindless for sure.
Yeah.
And
Funny as fuck. Like Thomas Jane was awesome.
really,
Oh
he
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Like,
It's nice to see him back, kind of doing stuff again. He came in like he kind of disappeared for a while, and then he came back with The Expanse, which is a great sci-fi TV show. If people haven't watched it, you should do that.
it's the nation of butthurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of what we're living in right now. It's, you know, I used to call it the I generation, so iGen, but
I like
it's
Nation
just,
of Butthurt way
it's
more.
just butthurt nation, and so this movie kind of touches on. I mean, the kid is like on the spectrum or has Asperger's or something, so he's a little bit smart. And then you got Thomas Jane. He's got
He's got
Tourette's and-
Tourette's. Yep.
So they're playing on all of this, and they're throwing the word retard around, and they're just. I can see why a lot of people went just like, really, are you making me watch this? And
But I felt like I was back in the
Trigger
80s, which is
hard.
where I belong.
yeah, right.
And I
So-
love that shit. But that, you know, not that I believe people should go around offending everybody. But if you're so easily offended by a word or a terminology, that's your problem, not
So
ours.
whose fault is the offense at that part?
The person being offended,
Right.
not the offender. Alleged offender. Sorry.
We just lost a whole bunch of.
Yep.
No, that doesn't. You know what?
They're not
If you're offended by it, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have followed us for 8 years.
No, you wouldn't have. So fuck off, anyways. Did you watch anything else this week, or
You know what? I can't really remember.
oh, not good
No.
if you didn't?
No, again, I'm still watching Flash, and
You'd love that show, The Flash.
no, I'm addicted to it.
Well, you should.
and,
It's a good show.
It's on Flicks of the Net.
Yep.
I'm not even going to say the word today.
Well, we have a
because-
beef with them coming up, but we'll do that after the NL thing.
Is that what we're going to
We'll
do?
say, well, no, why don't we just beef now?
Well, I mean, I know they listen to us. We talked about the whole binge watching. They were
Mm-hmm.
going to take away that at the end of every show that it was just going to go to the next one. They're going to take that away. I mean, you're the
Put
king
it in
of
an
binge
ad.
watching.
Yep.
Like, you created binge watching. Why take it away and do something stupid? Now, here's something stupid. We were talking about how just before the show how Disney is going to be starting their own channel. So
Yep.
Flicks of the Net. I'm not saying you until you guys listen to us and give us, you know,
Money.
No, well, we don't want money. We just want you to be fair.
Yes, be fair.
Our price is going up monthly to $17 a month.
If you have the premium, it's going to be $14 if you have the regular one. Now, where's this premium shit come from?
So
I've been paying
premium just gives you like I'm pretty sure right now I'm paying the premium because I have every single person in my house has a device in their hand that they stream Netflix on at the same time. And before, if I wasn't on premium, only 2 people could watch it at the same time, and I'm like, motherfuckers, I'm paying for it. I better be one of them.
That's the
but
difference.
I wasn't. I never was.
Oh.
So I upgraded to have 4 or 5. I upgraded the screen viewing time, but $17 an hour, and we're about to lose a whole bunch of Disney stuff.
Well, they canceled Daredevil today. No, that's 3 of the Marvel shows. I don't care about the like Luke Cage or Iron Fist, but Daredevil was all like season 3 of Daredevil was gold. There's no need to cancel it. It's popular and it's well. I've heard 2 theories about that. One is, of course, the move to Disney, which makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Disney's doing its own thing. Disney owns Marvel. They're going to bring it over there, so they could still do more Daredevil there. The other thing I heard, and this is apparently why the theory that went around with Luke Cage and Iron Fist, is that it wasn't getting social like hashtagged enough. So people aren't talking about it as much online, so that they're going to cancel it. Never mind that there could be enough people who aren't online talking about it to justify warranting it, right?
Cater to the people, but charge them more.
That exactly.
That's not going to work.
No, it won't work. People are going to go elsewhere. There's other streaming services out there. If all the stuff that I like that's Marvel is going to end up on the Disney one, guess where I'm going to go put my subscription dollars?
Right? And I intentionally changed my body language to fold my arms and be like,
Smart. And if everything is based
first
on,
world problem.
that's right.
I do realize that, people.
Is based on, but it's important to us. Is based on social media tweets. Please like and share our show.
What?
Well, no, if
Did
everything
we
is
just ask for like and shares?
well, if we're going to get canceled because we're not getting enough likes and shares on NL, then please like and share our show.
Okay.
I should have explained that, but then that wouldn't have been as funny. But that this died with a thud anyways, so who the fuck am I to?
Because I didn't understand. That's my stupidity.
It's no.
fine.
It's the offender's fault in this one.
When we review this video, yeah, it's the offender's fault. Fuck y'all. In the words of Amy Wickenheiser. Fuck
God
y'all.
damn right. Hey, Amy.
All right, so shall we step into your Radio NL segment?
Yeah, let's...
Which, good news, actually. Starting next week, I'll be back.
Yeah, Sean is going to be back on the Mighty Radio NL with us. We're pumped. We're pumped. And there could be some big stuff coming for us with the Mighty Radio NL down the road, too.
As long as they let us swear, I'm okay.
Exactly.
They're
But
not
first, their segment.
Here it is.
Inserting segment now. It's spinning.
It's spinning software.
There we go.
So.
And then we will just go from there. You got to tune into the podcast on Sunday if you want to hear it. Or tomorrow morning at 8:40 a.m. on the AM Now.
Yep.
All right.
And that was Jason and Howie, Radio 1L, talking about all the stuff they talk about, because I have no clue, actually, to be honest with you.
Well,
You guys just went on and on and on.
we rambled incessantly. I reviewed Creed 2, because I did see Creed 2.
Yep.
It's awesome. I hope John's watching. John, did you see Creed 2? Because I really liked it. I hope you did too. It's good. If you watch the other Creed.
What's that?
Creed. Have you watched the other Creed?
I haven't. No.
Dude.
No, you know what, man? After Rocky 4, I kind of just fell off the train.
Well, this is a good time to get back on, because you know who's back.
Yes, I do. And I'd love to get Dolph Lundgren on our show, actually.
Well, that would be great.
I don't know how we can go about doing that, but that's like...
He's smarter than the both of us combined, too.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's not hard for me. I'm just
Nor
sitting
I,
over here in
actually.
this Comic Relief Peanut Gallery.
And I just run on instinct, so.
It would be really cool to talk to him about that. And I listened to one of his TED Talks the other day.
How was that? Was it good? Yeah.
Dude, he had a rough childhood. Like, rough childhood. So, to see where he crawled out of and to what he became, it's kind of like the Arnold Schwarzenegger story.
Yep.
Sadly, one made, crumbled that man's empire. It didn't crumble.
No.
But
Dolph's been doing fine.
Dolph is fine, and it'd be great to talk to the man. But
We also Ed the Sock is coming to Kamloops.
okay,
Yeah. We
For-
talked about that a bit.
sure.
At the Blue Grotto.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
How he interviewed him. Apparently he's a pretty good sock. Moving on.
I'm just thinking of all the uses of the stock that he's supposed to resemble.
Well, I'll leave that to you, sir.
No,
I do.
Sure.
I do. I guess one thing, Christmas is coming up, right? We're going into prime Christmas movie time. There's a comic book graphic novel coming out that's a Die Hard sequel called A Million Ways to Die Hard.
A Million Ways to Die Hard.
Yeah. Now, we don't have a new movie. We don't, right? So we might not. So I guess they're thinking maybe continuing on as a comic book series. So it's a graphic novel. You can order it on Amazon. It sounds pretty good. Mm-hmm. McClane's retired and he gets called back in because there's a serial killer that's actually killing people based on movie scenes. Mm-hmm. And the first challenge is at Nakatomi Towers, which is kind of neat. So it could work. It almost sounds to me like a script that didn't work out. So they went and adapted it into a graphic novel.
If only we knew some movie people who could just make it a movie so I don't have to read it.
So I know there's a few watching.
I'll read it, of course.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a comic. There's just little bubbles of words.
Little bubbles of words. Actually, I read a few of the pages that were on that and it actually seemed pretty interesting.
Cool. I could be into that for sure.
Absolutely. But other than that, there wasn't too much that really came down. You know, one thing I'm noticing is movie news just isn't getting as interesting anymore. Do you think that it's just because the movies that are coming out aren't that interesting, or do you think it's just we don't pay attention to those movies so much? Or
well, if you want to talk about paying attention,
okay.
I mean, how many people, they go on YouTube, they watch 5 minutes of a video. If they can't hold their attention for more than a few minutes, they just
they're done.
And I think that's the same. I mean, a lot of cases, if you go to the theater, you're in there for the long haul. You've paid good money for it, but I mean, let's be honest, not a lot of people actually watch the movies they watch. You got all the streaming services, YouTube, and people are still pirating movies. That's ridiculous. Support movie makers.
I agree, and I wrote an article on the site a little while ago that you read half of because it was too long, but it was the one about the
You didn't even make it halfway.
Shortening the window, and it was too wordy. I admit it was shortening the window between the release time and when it hits the home market because that's becoming all important, right? Partly because of the rising dollar of going to the movies, but they're like
it's the cost of popcorn, really. Let's be honest.
Well, I get, and I've griped about it before. Creed 2 with popcorn and drink cost me as much to buy it, and now I'll be able to buy it in like a couple months. Venom, which came out in October, is going to be out next week. Right. It's like 2 months, but do they need to worry about it because it already made $800 million worldwide in like 2 months? I guess they don't, right? I think killing it. I think maybe just audiences' tastes have changed. We want that audience. We're not willing to. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much competition, we're just going to go see it as quickly as possible. But what's unfortunate is a lot of the good movies that deserve to get seen aren't getting seen because of they just get lost in the crush.
Right? And I mean, how many times does that happen where you see you don't want to go to the theater to watch the movie, just doesn't seem that interesting. You want to see it home. And it just lost.
It just disappears. But there's some really good movies. I mean, how many years we've been doing this, and we've come across some great ones. Mm-hmm. And it's neat when you have it. Like, I mean, we look at when we reviewed John's movie Dead, and then now he's done The Shelter, and Heretic's coming out, and things are happening with the proposal. You look at Mike Flanagan, who did The Haunting of Hill House. We interviewed him back. Well, not interviewed, but we reviewed his movie Absentia, which was his first film 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was like a nothing movie that went somewhere, right? So there's lots of good stuff.
Because it was a good movie.
Yeah, the really good stuff I think gets out there and gets seen. The other stuff doesn't.
Yeah, totally.
The only other thing I can think of this past week that really touched me is I watched the old slasher classic, I guess you'd call it a slashic, Hell Night from 1981.
Right.
With Linda Blair.
Yep. How did that hold up?
It was actually pretty good. It stood out a bit because it was a bit fun.
Yep.
And it was a bit different. And she wasn't, because she kind of fell into the whole Exorcist trap later, you know what I mean? Everyone just hired her to make Exorcist references and stuff like that. But she was actually playing a different part in that, and she was cute as a button. I'm going to use that phrase.
Holy shit.
And showed ample cleavage, just to make up for the cute as a button thing.
Yeah.
Want to sit and hold on that for a few minutes?
No, I'm okay. Fine.
You're all right.
It's good.
It's good. What's coming up? We, just before this, had a really good interview, of course, with our bro John Fallon and our bro as well, Mark Natoli.
I mostly listened, but it was awesome. I was so intrigued. I was just like, fuck, you guys are kicking ass, so I'm not going to say no.
It's always a good time, and you always provide good input when you need to, brother.
Peanut
would not
gallery.
I would not worry about
very
that.
little work.
It's great.
Yep.
Isn't it? Much like these shows have become very little work.
Yep.
So that's actually going to be on the next week's edition, and you'll also be able to hear a segment of it on the radio now when you're back.
And thanks to those guys for staying up so late. They're way at the other end of the country where it's 3 hours ahead. We're 8:30 now, 8:50.
We're just very comfortable where we are.
Close to midnight there. Nothing good happens after midnight. So put your pants back on, boys.
That's right. They may or may not have had a good time before. Other than that, I think we're good for this week.
Yes, and tonight the outro music coming from the band Mad Hatter, buddy Dennis Erickson in Sweden.
Nice.
Just a very wintry sounding song.
For a very wintry night.
Sure.
Here in Canada. All right, folks, we'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We're going to expand. We're going to try to do a live feed also off of Instagram.
Yep.
Next week. We're going to prepare for that. More stuff coming down the pike in the weeks ahead. Thanks for tuning in and listening this week. We'll catch you again next time in the basement.
Basement. Cool.
Nice.
Stop.
Peace. How do I turn it off?
Just touch the screen.